I'm Lance Rezac. We have a diversified farm near Onega, Kansas. We farm with my brother and two of his sons, and also my son and my daughter. And one of the things we raise is soybeans on that farm, which led me to getting involved in the Soybean Association here in Kansas. Currently, I'm a commissioner on the Kansas Soybean Commission. Through that, I also volunteer on the United Soybean Board, which is a national checkoff. And through that, I also got involved in the U.S. Soy Export Council, which deals with international soybean trade. The way the checkoff works, half of it you get, it's 1/2 of 1% of the money you get when you sell soybeans. So if you sell $1,000 worth of soybeans, there's $5 that go towards a checkoff. And of that $5, half of it, $2.50, stays here in Kansas, and the other $2.50 goes to the national checkoff, the United Soybean Board. And recently, Cornell University did a study, and you got over $12 back for every dollar you invested in the checkoff. So it's a really good buy for farmers. And it's all run by volunteer farmers. I mean, we do have staff, but the volunteer farmers are the one that dictate everything and choose projects. Our job is to, I think the mission is to increase profit potential for all Kansas farmers and everyone in the United States. Well, that's a pretty broad ask, you know. And so our funding, we do stuff locally with research, obviously, to grow better soybeans. We do new uses for meal, for feed, and aqua, and we also do new uses for oil, and some of that is local, more of that's national. And then we do promotion of just farm for youth and adults. We support FFA and Ag in the Classroom because we want to make sure we have the next generation of Kansas soybean growers and farmers and leaders coming on too. So the national level, I was talking a little bit about how you get $12 back. Well, part of that will leverage our funds. Let's say like Rust-Oleum or Goodyear, they want to start using soybean oil in their paint instead of petroleum oil. So they go ahead and they say, well, we'd like to do some research on that, and we'll say, okay, well, we'll put $100,000 in if you'll put $100,000 in. So, and then that's a good deal for Rust-Oleum because it gets to do research, but it's a good deal for farmers because we get a new use for our soybeans, and we've done that with Rust-Oleum. Goodyear is a good example. Goodyear is wanting to go away from all petroleum products in their tires here eventually, and they already do have tires that use soybean oil in them. And so the world is really wanting to replace petroleum oil with soybean oil, and I think it's absolutely possible to do anything. It'll be a matter of how much soybean oil we can supply. And then once the money goes to the United Soybean Board, they fund a lot of this, again, research, promotion, everything, but on a bigger scale. And part of that they do is international market development, and a lot of that money goes to the U.S. Soy Export Council, and I'm also on that board. And they're active in, I believe, 72 countries around the world, and their mission is to promote U.S. soy. And they've done everything from helping people learn how to raise chickens or fish. They actually go into these countries and set up soy excellence centers that can teach people how to do stuff like raise fish or chickens. I actually went to Guadalajara, Mexico about a month ago, and they had 120 Latin American soy users at a meeting talking about new technologies, and the farmers were there giving a kind of report on their fall harvest and how things were going. And so, but it's real successful. They're able to get these companies in and buy a lot of soy, and just and work with them and tell them what's available. I'm going to Bogota, Colombia. There's a poultry expo down there, and we finance as a state. Even we put some money into Colombia because Colombia is a really good buyer of U.S. soy. It buys almost 100% exclusively U.S. soy. They've been a great customer for us, and so we go down there and work with them and do some visits and make sure the buyers are happy with what's happening, and go to the Poultry Expo and make our presence known that we really appreciate their business. Later on, I think some travel is going to pick up. I believe we're going to try to go to Morocco. That's another upcoming customer of U.S. soy. well, most of the population is not in the United States. I think we export 60% of the soybean meal now. So if you're going to increase demand, you're going to have to do it internationally. You can only do so much here. So some of your money goes to U.S. the Soy Export Council, and again there, the other thing they'll do, we'll get some foreign market development money and other money from the government, because the government is also interested in increasing, our demand for U.S. goods around the world. And so that leverages your money further yet. It's just a really good buy for the farmers to invest in the checkoff. I can't say how important it really is. It's done us a tremendous amount of good.